see this picture change. Just a second. Welcome everybody to another episode of Datclickdoe, and we have a special guest with us today. We have the Dogofdevros' wife. This is Quita, and we're going to be discussing an interesting topic today. I'm a gamer, and my spouse or significant other doesn't mind. And we're going to get the other side of the story on that. But before we get started on anything else, guys, you know what we got to do. It's all about that click, though, right? Right. My wife gets a kick out of that. Right? Right? How you like that, huh? Now the nerds got a beat.
This dude think he cool. Okay.
Is it can do it? You don't think I'm cool?
Oh, Lord.
Did you not like the beat? Did you not like the beat?
It was a cool
and
beat.
And the demo?
But, you know.
What? Come on, tell us about it.
It's like, dude, but your little dancing moves with that music, though, like, come on, you got to work on it a little bit.
I like the way she said your dancing moves with that music, though. You know, because that's all about that click, though, right? Come on, you gotta. It's all about that click, though, right? Okay, so
it's all about my baby, though.
Okay, I'm taking that.
Okay, yeah.
I might get a little giddy. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna talk to Quita because for a long time, even before we got married, you knew I was a gamer, but.
Absolutely.
How long have we been married now?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Oh, no. I remember when you came over and you brought over the PlayStation.
The PlayStation, right?
Oh,
that was the
I
first
stole
time.
it.
That was the first time, right?
I stole it.
Welcome to the street. Plant, jump in here, man.
I stole it.
Don't act like you.
Quita!
Hey, what's up? Yes, my husband. He drugged me. He and put me in the chair. So now I'm tied to it.
You don't have to tell everybody what we do in our spare time. Come on,
really?
man.
Really?
Being tied to a chair by that man ain't too bad. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I'd rather be tied to him, not the chair.
Hey.
Hey. Anyways.
So Plant, we were just talking. So, you know, we've been married for 20 years now, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm
expecting big things.
You're expecting big things.
Yes, since I let you
years.
game, I am expecting
Wait, this is
big
not
things.
what that's supposed to be about.
Okay, but anyways, I let you game though. Right?
So 20 years of gaming.
That is what this is about, right? Right. When the other don't mind. Okay, you say that I'm a gamer and my spouse doesn't mind. Oh, absolutely, I don't mind.
You don't mind as long as you get something big,
absolutely.
huh?
Absolutely.
All right, Daddy's got something for you.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about how it started. You and I were dating, and I remember I had a PlayStation 1.
Right.
That
I stole.
You did steal it because I'm thinking I'm being a good guy by she's like, oh, you have that game and Crash Bandicoot. Oh, can I borrow it? So
before there was the Atari days. You know, I was in love with the Atari, but okay.
Oh, but it may.
Yeah. Okay.
So you know, and so let's tell everybody you're not a gamer.
No, not necessarily. Like I don't.
Not traditionally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, it just kind of depends on what I'm playing. Because, you know, back in the day when Enduro was everything, what we doing? The fog, driving through the fog, chopper command, that was everything. So when Marlon came in with Crash Bandicoot, he got me. Because
hey, Crash though.
What? Crash what?
That's a game right there.
Yes, because you know why? Because it was similar to how we used to play. It goes one way. You know, I can't play any of the other games because you have to, you know, look all these different places. So I usually get dizzy. So, yeah, I was sold on that. But go ahead, babe.
So, in essence, once she found out I had a PlayStation 1, she asked if I could bring it over to her house. So I brought it over to her house and we played it. And I remember leaving. Welcome to the podcast, Pray Then Die. What's happening, brother? So I remember leaving the PlayStation 1 with her and telling her, hey, no problem. That's no big deal. Yeah, I'll leave it with you, you know, her and her sisters. But I got kind of jealous because I had no gaming system. And the telephone was the only way we really communicated because we didn't really have cell phones then. It was right
didn't
before.
have a car either.
We didn't have a car
okay.
either, right? But anyway, I remember trying to call her and not being able to reach her. And lo and behold, I find out that her friends, her girlfriends, and some of their friends and guys they knew, they were all over playing my PlayStation at her house. We were dating. Is that not like cheating?
Are you serious?
I mean, you had my system.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yes,
baby.
it does.
No, it doesn't.
If you love me.
No, it doesn't. Oh no, baby, you had it in.
Oh, I had it in, right?
Yeah, because when you left the PlayStation, you knew that it was a way to come back.
Hey.
It was you knew it was a way to come back. So he's like, oh, okay, well that's cool. Come on now, stop playing. Well, and at the end of the day, you got the girl, right?
This is
All
fair.
right,
This is fair.
okay.
The nerds get the hotties, right?
Okay, what
so
we
that's,
doing?
But that eventually led to when we did get married, we still had that PlayStation.
Right.
And we spent part of our newlyweds challenging each other every day.
Oh, Starblade.
Every
man.
day.
Look, Starblade was everything. Oh yeah, it was everything. Literally, I used to call Marlon all the time when he was at work. Oh, and I would make sure that while he was at work, that I would try and beat his score. So then when I finally beat his score, I would call him and scream on the phone, I beat you! I beat you! You can't beat me! Like, oh yeah, it was crucial. It was crucial. Those were the days when we didn't have any kids. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when Marlon was my child. Oh yeah, he was my child.
That is awesome. That is, not only do I love that, I beat you. I like seeing it on stream, looking at you, looking at him like, what?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. And he used to you say, what? You beat me. I said, you heard what I said. Now come home and beat me. Oh yeah.
I tried.
What?
I tried. I didn't always win. I didn't know what I was, but it was such a
a
competitive situation.
Like absolutely.
So let's talk about the situation. You guys chime in with your questions, please, at any time. So we talked about this in times past about the stigmatism with games and how people approach them and how people feel about them. And we do have this sense in society that anybody who plays video games are destructive or they're isolationists. They don't like to have any fun. So you've been married to me for 20 years.
Yes, Lord.
So tell me why it is that you never have a problem with the fact that you're married to someone who likes to play video games.
Well, because I always believe that I think as even though we're married. Okay, that's my specialty. Speaking into the mic.
Come on.
Listen,
come on.
He said, come on, speak into the mic. Okay. Anyways, but I mean, I've just always been a firm believer that, you have to have your personal hobbies, separate from, I guess your relationship for that matter. I guess whatever is a self-fulfilling hobby that you have. And my thing is, if it was your thing, then that's just your thing. I mean, we're not going to always, I guess, enjoy doing the same things together all the time. Although I don't mind being with you, yes, but I know that you need your personal time. And so for me, it's never really been a problem for my husband to play like video games or whatever, so I mean, it is what it is. I love fashion. I love shoes. I love looking good. Although I don't look good right now, but
oh, you're fine.
Don't look too close.
But wonderful,
honey. No, baby. And I was just looking at some shoes. But anyways, now our anniversary coming up. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so anyways, let me throw that in there right there. But anyways,
something about this podcast turns out is a little too.
Turns out what?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyways,
continue with the discussion.
But I just believe that you should be able to do your own thing, and that's okay. Because when somebody doesn't allow you to do your own thing, then it brings problems to the relationship to me. You know, because it fizzles into other things. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're trying to control them.
Ooh, I like that. It's so I just I got a little bit of a question. So it's kind of like what you're getting at is if you don't allow them to have their hobby, and in this case, it would be video games and whatnot.
Right.
It kind of can push someone into a destructive tendency,
You can. It can.
right?
Like later on down the line too, because
Yeah.
the thing is that it starts early. It starts early on, you know, and left unchecked, you know, it grows into something else, you know. So that's my thing, you know. It's like, so if that's something that you know, want to do or enjoy doing, and somebody keeps you from doing that, you know, period, and say, oh, you can't do this, you know, it's like, to me it's a form of control, and,
Right.
and at the end of the day, like, a person wants to, like, as human beings, we want to get out of being controlled.
I
per
mean,
se.
you can control me whenever you want to, but I appreciate that you don't.
Yeah, but that's when you like it.
Cody's mic's muted, but he is laughing. Just
like
laughing.
I'm just saying,
Just-
I mean, that's when you like it. Like, you welcome it. You
I
welcome the control.
I,
You know
I
what I'm
do
saying?
welcome the control, but I
Yeah,
appreciate
but
the
you-
fact that there's a freedom there, because I mean, and you've said this before, you know, there are a million other places I could be instead of being home in front of the TV.
Well, but I make sure that all the other places in our lives are okay.
Pause on that one, stream. Pause.
Are you serious right now? Like,
What up, Indiana Pones? Thanks for the subscription, brother. Welcome. This is Miss Quee. She is joining in, helping us to see why spouses and significant others don't have a problem with all gamers. But tell us now. We say that you do say, yeah, we have a hobby. Having a hobby is a good thing.
It is.
But there is something else that comes with that. I mean, for you and I both. I mean, there still has to be some time that has to be spent, right? I mean, it's not like I spend all my days sitting on the computer.
No, but at the same time, like outside of the video game world, like we have to live in the real world, unfortunately. Hey, boo, how you doing?
That's Indiana Poems, by the way.
Indiana Poems.
Like Indiana Jones, but Indiana Poems.
Oh, like Pony?
Stop
okay,
it.
I'm
No,
just-
not like Pony. I'm going to need you to stop it.
I'm just messing.
Pwned.
Pwned?
You don't know what pwn means. I'm going to give you a gamer's dictionary as a consolatory prize for being on the
Oh, really?
yeah, we have our own language.
And he will read through it with you.
Oh, absolutely. Word by word. Verse by verse, right? Okay.
I don't think we have a Bible yet, but we're working on that.
Hey,
right? But finish
hey.
telling us. Not Indiana Brony. You know what bronies are, right?
No, baby.
They're the guys that collect the My Little Ponies.
Listen, now you already know I'm not well versed in this whole gaming. Yeah, I told you. What did I just tell you about Crash Bandicoot
Okay,
going
but
one
Crash
way?
is still
literally?
relevant.
Like, dude, Atari one way, bruh.
But that was PlayStation 1. Don't say you're
I
sorry.
mean, it was back in the day with joysticks, man. I'm well versed.
Stop
in
it!
joysticks.
Stop it.
Like, listen.
Stop it. This is a clean.
It is,
this
but I'm just saying.
He just gave you 2 bits. He gave you 2 bits.
What is that?
That's kind of like a little prize. You know,
Working the
give you 2 bits.
joystick.
Indiana, you're killing it.
Indiana, I'm gonna need you to stop feeding this, Indiana. I'm gonna need you to stop. I need you to stop. But finish telling us, like, what else it requires? Because we spend time, right? We have a date day, right?
Yeah, we have a date day. Absolutely. You know, and typically the date day is when like both of us can kind of get to do whatever we want to do, and even when our mate really doesn't want to do it, they still, just because it's date day, we still will do it just because,
Right.
you know, okay, we're supposed to share that day. So,
Right.
and that's fine, you know, and so that's important. So my thing is, hey, look, it works for me. He say, if you don't use your joystick enough, it sticks. What the devil? If you don't use the joystick, it sticks. No, baby, not my joystick.
Anyway, let's move on to just the fact that, so What advice would you give to people who have mates who like to play games? Because don't get me wrong, there are people, male and female.
No, there exists a lot of females who really don't let their men play video games, or they basically tell them, give them a time frame as to when they can play it or when not to play it, and I just don't necessarily agree with that. Just like I said, just because I just feel like your mate should have something that they enjoy doing, whether it's a hobby or whatever, and you should give for it, period. Especially when I don't know, like in a relationship, like I just don't think it's fair, right, like to basically tell somebody they're not a child, like it's a grown person. Well,
and you guys can comment on this if you'd like to. I think the one thing that for me that I appreciate is the fact that it's not something that I'm solely addicted to, but it is nice to be able.
No, because he's addicted to me.
Yes.
So listen.
Okay. Anyway, so the other side of that is it's nice to be able to come home and sit down and play a game, and even when my wife walks through the door, and to get that. Hey, honey, would you like me to go get you something to eat? Hey, would you like me to make you something or whatever? Now, my wife works 10 to 12 hours a day. She's on her feet all day. She's doing hair. And she comes home and caters to me in that instance, which,
and that's part of just how I grew up, though. Like, because my mom always catered to my father in respect.
But your dad wasn't playing video games. Let's just be real.
I mean, he wasn't. But remember, he's taking care of like 8, 9 kids, though. Like seriously, and my mom did not work.
Now that's a real man.
Okay,
8,
like
9
what
kids,
we doing?
I'm just
okay. Shut it down.
First of all, we would never have 8, 9 kids because I'm not sharing my Xboxes or computers with any other kids. Bad enough I got the one in there.
Okay, you're lying about that.
I'm not bad enough in that
are.
one. I have 2 Xboxes because I am not.
Okay, look, Marlon is a type of person. Okay, seriously, you
are
drop
my water.
Whatever. You are the type of person when it comes to having children. Diddy. That's how the boys be. Diddy. You know this, right? Because you
because
are
I have daddy's
knees.
boys. You says I got.
Yes, you weaken the knees for them.
I am not. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Absolutely.
The one thing.
The only person I'm weakening the knees for is you.
Okay, but here's the
but
deal.
Not
with
children, honey. Not children.
Here's the deal.
What?
So these guys, because you work the way you do, and when I used to work nights, I'd come home and play games with them, and they love that. They just love that, and so I've been coming like the cool dad. Now, granted, they've turned it into other things.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about that.
Yeah, playing with a
You don't mind me playing video games.
I don't.
But what does that say for the children who see that? I mean, because we've had 2 boys, both who still play video games.
Okay.
But how does it affect that now?
As far as what?
As far as you don't mind me playing,
right?
But when you see the kids, what does that mean for you?
Well, my thing is that there are other things that they have to learn. I mean, I feel like you're a grown man, so.
Y'all heard that? I'm a grown man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And so at the same token, you need to you work, and it.
So she
our
thinks.
Youngest boy, whatever.
Okay.
Oh no, you smooth at work, don't you?
How do you know you're not even see me at work?
You walk in singing and carrying on. Are you kidding me?
Oh
yeah, whatever.
That's just what people.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, but I just feel like my son has a lot to learn when it comes to growing up. So he still needs to learn how to work hard and do things physically, okay, and not mentally, because that's the only thing about. With the video games, my son tends to live in a virtual world and not in reality. Like he gets kind of confused with both.
So do you think that's what happens in some relationships where the gamer in the relationship goes too far? Like that's all they do? Because let's be real, guys, and you guys can comment on this. There are guys who don't have jobs, who the wife supports everything, and they get 5 and dime jobs. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But do you feel that in those situations that's an imbalance? Like they may work, but they not, They spend 16 hours. They spend 16 hours on the game, and maybe 4 hours a day at work.
I mean, if you're playing a video game is to escape reality, yeah, sure. Like that's a good one. That's high up on this chart. But one of the primaries for me is, oh my goodness, Indiana.
I know, right? I got me a sugar.
Indiana says, "I got me a sugar mama." We know that's a lie because we know how hard you work, brother.
Well, I got a sugar daddy.
He's got another child on the way, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
But the other primary thing for me is you're always trying to be the best in the game. When you snap back to reality, you're trying to be the best there too.
Okay.
Right? So like in a way, video games have taught me to level up in life, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And it pains me to see people who waste. I mean, I don't want to call it a waste. You know, some people do it professionally. They're heroes, sure. But like just the average Joe who games 16 to 20 hours a day, right? Where's that progression in your life?
Well said, man.
Yeah,
well
absolutely.
said.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Absolutely. Now, I definitely don't co-sign on somebody sitting on your couch all day and playing a video game, like, all day long, like.
Well, and so let me also chime in. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm not that.
Are you serious?
I'm not that Monday to Friday. You know, hopefully the rest of my life. But I've killed some weekends.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say that would be let's be real. I mean the weekends. We're not talking about the weekends. I mean we're talking about somebody who may weekdays, take it to the extreme.
Right, absolutely.
And I mean, for the love of God, the better job you have, the more money you get, the more money you can pour into the gaming, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And give a shout out to my wife too, because there have been moments when some days she'll come home or even on our date days, she will say, "Hey, look, there's a GameStop. You want to stop in and see what's out? Do you want to get something new?" And I tell you guys these stories all the time. You know, there are times when we go there and I say, "Oh yeah, I do want that new game, but you know what? I just need to wait."
No, Marlon, you've always been the type of person, you don't really like to purchase things for yourself. He fights, literally, he have to fight with himself before he purchased anything, including a video game.
That is a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
It is a lie.
No, don't get it twisted, boo-boo. Yes, there have been plenty of times you've called me an ass. Okay.
Right, but that's my point. Is like you would say like, "Hey, do you want to stop and get a game?" And I'm like,
see,
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." Right.
I'm just letting you know right now, honey.
Right.
No.
He says my boy was running 4 gigs of RAM. Are you kidding me? I was running 8, man. I had to up it to 16. Don't you just say 4 gigs? Anyway. But my point is, she will say, "Hey, you want a game?" Yeah, he passed that. You know what I mean? Welcome to the stream, Wix. That's Alex.
Hey, Alex.
So here's the deal. I mean, she would literally say, "Hey, do you want to go check out a game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to check out a game. That'd be cool." And next thing you know, she's like, "Well, do you want to get another one?" Now, come on, guys. Any self-respecting man whose wife says, "You want to get another one? You mean I can get 2 games?" I'd say, "Well, kind of not." And she's like, "Just go ahead and get your game."
Like, come on, dude.
But that wasn't just it, right? She would, after I'd get the 2 games, I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's it, I'm cool." And she's like, "Do you want to get another joystick?" And I'm like, wait. In my mind, seriously, I'm thinking something is up. I'm gonna have to pay back for this. But my wife's never been like that, to her credit. She's always been like, "I need to do what I can to make my husband happy." And I guess that's why we've been together for 20 years, is because she really supports the hobbies. And that's part of having a special relationship. I have a special relationship in the virtual world, but I have an even better one outside. And so hats off to you, little lady, for supporting the gamer. All right. Absolutely.
I benefit big time.
Oh yeah.
Big time. Yes, honey. Because you know how to get to the end of the game.
Anyway.
And all these special moves you learned. Absolutely.
My wife used to be one where she used to sit down with the old Tomb Raiders. You guys remember the old Tomb Raiders? She used to sit down with me on the Tomb Raiders.
Oh, look at Alex. Stop. No, I'm not stopping.
She used to sit down on the Tomb Raider games, and she actually would hold the guide and tell me where to go during the game. And I remember that when we were dating, and I love that. And she doesn't do that anymore because she can't watch the screen. What's wrong? What's wrong there, Wick? Wick, what's wrong, man? You can't take it? Why do we need to stop? We're your parents, man. Get over it.
Come on,
Get over it. With us stopping, you wouldn't have started. Keep on. Don't stop till you get enough. Keep
on. That is fantastic. I'm sorry I didn't mute myself coughing, but no.
You could.
That is awesome.
So again, when we look at the space we find ourselves with gamers and their spouses and significant others, again, what advice would you give to someone who's feeling like, I think I got a problem with my guy or my girl? Because this isn't just a one-way street. There are girls who stream and have husbands who don't game. What advice would you give to them in that instance where they're worried about that?
What they worried about as far as not getting? Because my thing is, like, when somebody's stopping you from doing something, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? Because my thing is like finding out, like, what's the reason why you don't want me to do something. Right. You know what I mean? You know, and I feel like, you know, if you talk about it, right, and compromise, then, I mean, my thing is, like, you're always supposed to be looking out for the interests of the other person,
right, in
the relationship, period, when you're talking to them. So you're never supposed to be thinking about yourself. So if somebody's stopping you, then honestly, they're really not looking out for the interests of the other person.
Fair enough.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. I got one for you, Marlon.
Yeah.
What just to get the other perspective on that end? What advice would you give to someone who is what I would call an avid gamer? You know, someone who games as much as you, me, Prey, anybody from the DCD squad, and their spouse has a problem with it. Just, you know, as being in a relationship with the Queen Quita, you know, how awesome and good shit. Yeah, I like a whoop whoop. You know, so you know what it's like to have that greatness by you and still be able to put the controller in the hands.
So I will say that what it has taken is, and it took me a while to learn this because, you know, us guys, we're so smart. We're just right on top of things.
Not
the story of my wife taking me to GameStop and whatever and buying me whatever I wanted there that's been consistent through our entire marriage. But the one thing I had a problem with is my wife would always say, hey, let's go drive an hour away because I want to go to the mall. And in my mind, I'm like, golly, I'm trying to finish this level and she wants me to go to the thing and so we'd go to the mall and I'd always be wearing a frowny face until she takes me to GameStop. She knew what she was doing. And I'd always be frowning. So the one thing I would say is, let's be real, everyone. If you're playing a game, we have game saves. We can catch the game. We can play at any other time. But taking that time out with your spouse or your significant other to do something they like, that detracts from the attention that's paid for you for what you like to do. So if my wife wants to go on an all-day excursion somewhere, guess what?
Yeah, but we usually don't.
No, but
because we have day. But
we do, but
and I just encourage all mates to really have a set aside a day for day, like, period. So that way it takes care of you taking care of your mate. Like,
well, that's true. But the other side of it is if you wanted to go shopping and you wanted me to come with you, I started to learn. I had to learn. I need to go ahead and spend this time with her shopping. And if she's going to try out 2,200 things, oh my God, that's the only thing I hate is she has to try on everything. Anyway.
Whatever.
But I
whatever.
Right?
I learned to do things to support her.
You should have brought your binoculars.
Whatever. I'm already a
He didn't need those binoculars. He was already there.
Right? I'm already a queetophile, right? So.
Oh, I like that. Queetophile.
I'm a queetophile. I like watching the queetas. But I learned to do other things. So right now in the game era we live in, if you got a Switch and your spouse wants to go shopping, bring your Switch with you, okay? If you like to play Candy Crush, bring Candy Crush with you, whatever. Just make sure you're doing something that involves them. So if your guy wants to go to the ball game and the girl wants to stay home again, just go to the ball game. You can play that game later. You can play it at any time.
Yeah, but you just said bring it with you.
No. I'm saying if we're shopping. Like while you're trying on clothes, while you're zipping yourself up and doing the dippity-doo-dahs and tying the knots and whatever, I'm just going to go play a little Zelda. When you walk out, I'm going to say, I like that. Yeah, that looks cool.
Really?
Right. So that's the kind of, that's not good advice?
No.
Why it's not?
It's not good advice.
It is great advice.
Because when you're spending time together, your time should be on each other.
But I'm not talking about
gaming. We're talking about gaming at home. Okay.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
if you're doing that, boo, you could go ahead on by yourself.
Stop it, because let me tell you something. I have brought it, and you've never had a problem.
You've never brought it.
I have.
But
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about that. Here's the other thing about that. It is not so obtuse that it interferes with what we do, and I'm going to tell you why. Because while you're in the dressing room, I'm just sitting there playing for a little while. It's no different than me watching YouTube videos while you're in the dressing room. It's the same thing, but it should not be the main staple of when we're together. It shouldn't be. I totally agree. I shouldn't be doing that, right?
Okay, so Alexander, you say you still have to be more engaging. What you mean?
What kind of videos you watching in the mall, Marlon?
He said, Yahoo! I remember those videos.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
But it's the same way, looking at your phone while you're in the mall. But my point is that take those times to be engaging. And like you said, yes, there should be a date day. Yes, there should be times when you come home and I'm not playing a video game. And there are times when that happens. You come home and I'm not playing a video game and you're saying, why don't we watch a movie?
Yeah, just last night I wanted to go out with you.
Right, but come on, last night, but I wasn't playing a video game. But I didn't play it. I wasn't playing a video game when you got home.
No, but you were probably in.
I was tired.
You was in your room.
I was tired, man. I work hard for money. Oh, so hard for. I worked hard. Yes, it's been a rough week. Ask Plant. Plant will tell you. It's been rough.
It has been a rough week.
Has it?
It's been a rough week.
Yeah.
So
I've been dying.
I thought I've made it better.
You thought you made it better?
Yeah, what we doing?
Maybe you're the only reason he made it through.
Plant.
That's all I'm saying.
Plant. You will understand this more than anybody.
Okay, so you drinking the water? What we doing? What we doing?
Everybody need a little water every now and then, right?
You need some water.
Oh, you thirsty? You thirsty?
Oh man.
So that's how it is. Well, cool. Well, thank you for your perspective, and we appreciate the opportunity of having the First Lady.
Absolutely.
The First Lady of
it was fun.
One of the first ladies of DCD, we appreciate it. And I love that shirt, by the way, that you have
on. No, because it's all about that Queedo.
Well,
we need to get you a shirt with that on it.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
That's all right. But, well, thank you. Thank you so much for your insight. And, guys, thank you for hanging around, hanging in the stream. Poems, Wick John is who? Pray Then Die Plant. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
If y'all don't know what it's all about. Matter of fact, let's just ask Miss Quita. Miss Quita, can you tell us what it's all about?
It's all about
that click, though.
All right. Absolutely.
So, guys, look. Tune in to us. There'll be a couple of us streaming tonight. We'll stream all throughout the week. We are doing that drive for 200 followers. So tell your family, tell your friends, bring them in. Catch us on the stream. We're on Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays. We're on Thursdays. Join us for Throwback Thursdays where we're playing old video games. And occasionally you might even catch this lady jumping in the background, bringing me a sandwich or something. You know, because she loved me like that.
Do I?
Absolutely, you love me like
Hey,
that.
what's happening at that 200 follower goal?
That 200 follower goal, we're giving away a giant tactical rucksack that's capable of carrying a 23-inch desktop, and you guys who go to BYOC
Definitely
events,
capable of carrying quickly.
Anyway,
That thing's so big.
You guys, thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for the compliment. So it's definitely if you go to BYOC events, this bag is perfect. So we'll be giving that away once we reach those 200 followers. Tell your family, tell your friends. Remember, if it's not about anything else, it's all about that click go. This is the Dogofdevros, and you know what? I'm taking us out of here. 1, 2, 3. You guys keep it real.